Hi, my name is Josh MacDonald. I am from the Boise Cohort. We are in the class Cultural History through Storytelling offered by Lesley University in the program of Integrating the Arts. I teach high school English and myths and legends, and today I'm actually going to be telling you the myth of Prometheus told by the Greek poet Hesiod. Thy godlike crime was to be kind. And render, too. Thy godlike crime was to be kind, to render in thy precepts less, the sum of human wretchedness, and strengthen man with his own mind. But baffled as thou wert from high, still in thy patient energy, in the endurance and repulse of thine impenetrable spirit, which earth and heaven could not convulse, a mighty lesson we inherit. Thou art a symbol and a sign to mortals of the fate and force. Like thee, man is in part divine, a troubled stream from a pure source. Lord Byron, the romantic poet and author of the poem Prometheus, was a man gifted with a way with words. Prometheus, the Greek titan and subject of the poem, was more of a man of action. In the times of gods and monsters, Prometheus, along with his other titans, were imprisoned in Tartarus, a dark abyss used as a dungeon of torment and suffering. Their incarceration was a result of Titanomachy, which was the great war between the Titans of old and the Olympian gods. However, Prometheus did not play a heavy part in the great war, and Zeus knew this. So, he pulled Prometheus from Tartarus and gave him a mission to form man out of water and earth. Prometheus tackled this task and accomplished it easily. However, during the rendering of man from earth and water, he grew quite fond of men. He found that they were humble and they were proud of the tasks that they accomplished, however small of feats they were. Prometheus didn't really care much for the hierarchy of the gods and found himself to be more comfortable with the mortals. And so, one day, Prometheus presented Zeus with a sacrificial bull on behalf of his mortals. Hail, mighty Zeus! I present to you the sacrificial bull from the mortals below. I would be honored if you were the first to select of this fine beast's offerings. In appeasement, Zeus selected a large portion of meat covered in succulent fatty tissue, and discarded the rest of the offerings to be cast down to mortals. Little did he know, Prometheus had tricked the thunder god. He had taken a heap of the slain bull's bones and wrapped it in fatty tissue, and then taken the best meat and wrapped it in intestines. So, when Zeus selected the largest portion of fatty tissue, it was a heap of bones, and he cast the best meat down to the mortals. Zeus was absolutely outraged. However, he did not punish Prometheus. Instead, he punished what Prometheus loved the most, his dear men. So, he extinguished fire from man and forced them to eat their meat raw and shiver in the cold nights. Now, Prometheus, being the patron of mankind, would not allow this to happen. It was an unjust act and something had to be done. So, he snuck into the forges of Hephaestus and stole fire, smuggling it in a hollow fennel stalk, and bringing it down to earth and bestowed it upon man once more. This time, Zeus was so outraged that his thunder could be heard in all parts of the world. He summoned Hephaestus. Prometheus has defied me for the last time. He slammed his fist down with thunder and said, Hephaestus, find him and bind him in Mount Caucasus, the eastern pillar of the world. Hephaestus, Zeus' son, did as he was instructed. He found Prometheus and bound him to a rock in Mount Caucasus. There, Prometheus was visited by a vulture sent by Zeus to feast on his liver every day. And each night, Prometheus' liver would regrow, only to have the vulture return the very next day in a series of perpetual torment. It is said that Prometheus' screams could be heard throughout all four corners of the globe, and even shook the very foundations of Mount Olympus. Now, I know you're all worried about our dear patron of mankind, Prometheus, but I will tell you right now, everything turned out all right. He was freed by a hero that you might know of the name Heracles. Now, Zeus, disgruntled with his liberation, agreed to it on one condition. Prometheus was to take the chains with which he was bound and forge a ring to wear for the rest of his days. That ring would then be a symbol of his torment, his suffering, and his incarceration at the hands of Zeus. From then on, mankind would forge their own rings in order to celebrate Prometheus and commemorate his sacrifice to mankind.